Am I the idiot for being all over my husband at dinner with my family because my aunt was telling everybody we were divorced? Our marriage had a rocky start, but things are better between us now. My husband never normally comes to events with my family anymore because he has issues with my dad and brother, so we thought it was better for our marriage and my relationship with my family if I go alone. My extended family hasn't seen him in over 3 years, and my aunt was convinced I'm divorced for some reason. I didn't actually realize she thought I was divorced until she told my cousin she would be divorced at 25 like me if she didn't wait until they were older to marry her fiancé. I was offended and upset, especially when she refused to believe I was still married. So I pretty much begged my husband to come to dinner with my family to prove a point. During the dinner, I could tell he didn't want to be there, and he was being a lot more touchy than normal. So I was being more affectionate to show I appreciated him coming and to prove a point to my aunt. I warned my dad and brother that he would be attending, and they both promised to behave. But they still ended up having a fight with him because my brother rudely asked me if I had to be all over him, and that he didn't need to see some jackass groping his little sister. In hindsight, I should have predicted my family would react like that since I know how they feel about my husband, so I should tone it down. But was I the idiot? Everyone sucks here. In my many years of being alive, I always noticed that the couple that gropes each other during dinner does not have a stable relationship. If you feel the need to mark your territory, then something is off. Weird that your family has not seen him in 3 years, and odd that they don't just ask if you are divorced. You're the idiot. You pressured your husband to go to a dinner he didn't want to be at in the first place, and then you used him to show off to your family with PDA that probably made everyone uncomfortable. Your insecurity should not be put on other people like that. Not the idiot, but your family sounds delightful. We do this at my family events to distract him from his social anxiety. It makes it more fun for both of us, and we can still visit with my family. Am I the idiot for refusing to forgive my husband, who made dinner plans with my mother-in-law instead of me? I am a 33-year-old woman, married to my 35-year-old husband. He's never been a fan of Valentine's Day because it's a performative bullshit holiday. But we tend to either have a nice dinner at home, go out to eat, or exchange small gifts. It's not a huge priority for me either. It's Valentine's Day. He texted me at 1 p.m. to say he was sorry he forgot today was Valentine's Day. I said it was fine. We have both been busy. A few hours later, I asked him what he'd like to eat, or would he rather go get dinner, assuming we would spend the evening together. He informed me he already had plans with his mom, who was in town, and that I could go if I wanted. I declined. An hour later, he let me know his mom canceled their dinner and asked if I still wanted to get dinner. That's when I lost it. I cursed him out for essentially making me feel like a second choice and forgetting about me that day. Not once during the day did he even say I love you. He told me I was overreacting, that he forgot, but I was being really hateful, and he takes me out all the time the rest of the year. Why is today a big deal? It's just a stupid fucking holiday. We didn't speak all week until today when he tried to apologize again, but followed it with almost the exact same argument from before, dismissing my feelings and then blaming me for getting angry at him. He believes I just wanted an excuse to rip into him. I have no more energy to try to make him see why I'm so hurt by his actions, and honestly don't know if I'll ever get over how hurt I am by his response to this whole thing. He said, I would have made it up to you, but I'm not going to grovel and be your emotional punching bag. Wow, am I the idiot? Everyone sucks here. Him for dismissing your feelings, you for giving such relevance to a holiday that you don't consider important yourself. Moreover, I don't know if he sees his mom often, but if my mom was in town, she would be a priority. I would probably not see her on Valentine's Day, but it wouldn't be impossible. You're the idiot. In one breath, you say you don't care about the holiday, and then you flip mode to Looney Town because he became available when dinner with his mom was canceled and asked if you'd like to grab something to eat. Dude, what? Not the idiot. If you're still together next year, consider booking yourself a nice staycation at a luxury resort and spa next Valentine's Day. Like hot tubs, massages, etc. Do not tell him where. When he wonders where you are, tell him you're treating yourself to some self-love because you deserve it. He'll be desperate to join you. Should she forgive him? Let me know in the comments. Now, am I the idiot for telling my brother-in-law's girlfriend she was overdressed for dinner with my in-laws? We have dinner with my husband's family at least twice a month, and it's always a very casual affair. My brother-in-law is planning to propose to his girlfriend, so his parents said it was okay for him to start bringing her to them. She was nervous about her first family dinner, so they came to our house first, and we were going to go together to make it easier on her. You could tell she had put a lot of effort into her outfit, but she was definitely overdressed. I wasn't going to say anything, but she asked me if I was not going to change, and I told her that nobody ever dressed up for these dinners. She was a little overdressed, but I did make it a point to tell her she looked lovely. However, she went into panic mode after I told her she was overdressed, because she thought my in-laws were the type of family to dress nicely, even at home, based on how they dress in public and my mother-in-law's personality. I told her it wasn't a big deal, but she wouldn't calm down, and she ended up fighting with my brother-in-law because he hadn't warned her and refused to go to the dinner. He blamed me because he thought I made her feel unwelcome with my unnecessary comment when I knew how nervous she was. I told him he could have just taken her home to change quickly instead of arguing with her, which has only made him more upset with me. His parents are also unhappy that they never attended dinner, and my brother-in-law keeps trying to get them to blame me for it. Am I the idiot? Yes, you are the idiot for telling her she was overdressed. You should have simply told her that you were not going to change and let her figure out the dress code herself. By telling her that she was overdressed, it became personal for her. Everyone sucks here. When she asked if you were getting changed, you could have just said, "No, we mostly dress casually for these dinners, so I'm just going to wear this," without telling her she was overdressed. Your girlfriend overreacted, your brother-in-law for not offering to take her home to change or telling her the dress code, and your parents for getting upset that your brother-in-law and girlfriend missed the dinner. Not the idiot. She asked you why you weren't changing your clothes and getting dressed up, and you told her that it wasn't that type of meal. Then she freaked out. I don't understand why people are calling you the idiot. Was she wrong for getting overdressed? Let me know in the comments. Now, am I the idiot for objecting to a group of people coming in and playing a loud game at my table in a coffee shop? My team at work is remote, so I work from home. I typically spend part of my workday at a local coffee shop where most customers are working on their computers. It's a popular spot, so sometimes it's hard to find a table. Often, customers who don't know each other will end up sharing the largest tables. When I arrived at the coffee shop today, the only open table was the largest table in the shop. It was an enormous table. It seats 5 people total, but only 4 comfortably. I set up my computer and got to work. I was finishing up a weeks-long project against a deadline later today. About half an hour later, 2 men approached the table and asked if anyone was sitting on the other side. I said no and moved my sweatshirt off the table to make room for them. I assumed they were there to work because they wore backpacks. They set their backpacks down and went to order their drinks. When they came back, one of them said to me, "Just so you know, 6 more people are coming, and we are going to play Dungeons and Dragons here, so it will be pretty loud." I objected. I said that it was fine if they were there to work or have a conversation on the other side of my table. But trying to squeeze 7 people into the 4 remaining seats and playing a loud party game wasn't going to work for me. They told me I was entitled, and because this was a public space, I basically just had to deal with it. I thought this was rude. I told them they were crowding me out of my table, because it would be impossible for me to work at the table if they were using it as a game table with a lot of other people. They had already asserted that it would get very loud. I decided to leave because I didn't have time to waste for the fast-approaching deadline. As I was packing up, they mocked me for being upset, saying that they were confident I'd figure it out, and that this too shall pass. Because there were no open seats in the coffee shop, I just went home. To me, it seems that if someone is at a table first, then anyone who joins that table should be respectful of that person. Yes, it's a public space, but am I really entitled to ask that they not disrupt my table with a loud game because I was already sitting there? What's the etiquette for sharing tables in a public space? Edit. To clarify, this coffee shop is right next to a university. Some people bring 27-plus-inch desktop monitors and camp out all day. I don't. 95 to 100% of customers are studying or working. It's definitely the norm at this shop, more so than others I go to. Before my current laptop-based job, I worked as a barista for several years. I notice your space, and I also keep buying things to pay for the space I occupy. I buy something every hour, including at least 1 meal each time I'm there, and I usually stay 1 to 3 hours. I did not expect or ask for silence or quiet. The coffee shop normally has ambient noise. My objection was specifically about these men using the table as a D&D game table with a group too large to fit, because this effectively forced me off the table. Not the idiot. People who come along later with more people than there are seats for are rude. That is apart from any other noise considerations. However, people do like to push single folks around. I'm not sure about the noise factor. I think the only recourse you would have had would be to complain to staff. They're the only ones that have say-so over customers' behavior. And if this group regularly comes to play games there, and the management doesn't mind, then you do have to put up with it. You're the idiot. It's a coffee shop, not an office. And having a table for 6 is just the icing on top of your assolery. Those 7 people are going to make the coffee shop more money than you, even if they just have 1 drink each. Is he wrong for wanting some peace and quiet? Let me know in the comments. Now, am I the idiot for not sitting in my assigned seat? My older brother got married last weekend, and I was invited. Although our relationship has been weird lately, I did go. I was told to sit in the front on my brother's side, but I sat in the back instead to avoid our dad. At the reception, my assigned seat was at the same table as my dad, so I asked my cousin to switch seats with me, and she reluctantly agreed. The maid of honor asked me to go to my assigned seat for a bit so the photographer could get candids of me and my other siblings. I asked if my dad was still there. She said, obviously, so I declined. She asked if you were going to be a prick about everything. Why did you even come? I told her to piss off, and she left me alone the rest of the night. When the reception started winding down, I left. The Mo's boyfriend was drunk as a skunk at this point, and as I left, he told me all the bridesmaids are gossiping about what an idiot I am. I've been thinking about it. I know people are supposed to sit where they are assigned, but I think my brother should have known I wouldn't be okay with that and foreseen I wouldn't accept that seat. Am I the idiot for not following instructions on his day? Not the idiot. Your brother knows about your relationship with Dad and should have known better than to sit you next to him. It might have even resulted in a fight at the wedding. You removed that possibility by moving seats. What is wrong with that? Nothing. You showed up to support bro. That's all he can ask of you. You're the idiot. If you knew your dad would be there, then why didn't you just give your brother a heads up beforehand that you didn't want to sit near him? Sounds like you made an assumption. I think my brother should have known, which is frankly pretty selfish. Weddings are often highly stressful events, so expecting him to read your mind on top of planning everything is a lot. Do you have to stay in your assigned seat? Let me know in the comments. Now, am I the idiot for smoking pot in my friend's apartment and getting him evicted? I have a buddy who is part of my friend group, who smokes a lot of weeds. Whenever he comes over to my house, he lights up. I have to constantly chase him outside. I smoke weed too. I just don't do it in my house. I smoke outside. Anyways, a few of us were over at his place for the Super Bowl, and I lit up on his balcony. I figured if he was comfortable smoking in my house, he must smoke at his place. I did not want to do it indoors, though. He comes running out and tells me to put it out. It's a smoke-free building. Poop, I guess I wasn't quick enough. He texted me today, and he has been evicted, and he lost his security deposit. I feel like an idiot. He is mad. Some of our friends are pissed off at me, but a few of them point out that I literally have had to throw him outside at my house because he kept smoking inside. He wants me to put his security deposit so he can get a new place. I might give him some money because I feel shitty about the situation. I didn't mean to cause him problems. I just thought he was so used to smoking at his place that is why he always forgot at my house. Edit. I've never rented or leased a home. I went from my parents' house to buying my own after saving up a down payment. Thank you all for the information. I'm going to ask to see his eviction to see if I was the only reason he was evicted. Not the idiot. He got evicted because a friend of his was smoking outside on the balcony for a minute or so. I'm not buying that it was the sole cause of his eviction. What evidence did the property management company have? Legal evictions usually take some time anyway. I bet your friend hasn't been paying his rent, or he smokes indoors at his place all the time since he had no problem doing it at yours. Everybody sucks here. You're the idiot for assuming it's okay to light up at his place, and he's one for not listening to you. It seems like a toxic friendship. You're the idiot. You should never smoke inside someone else's home without their permission, especially in an apartment. You definitely shouldn't smoke weed outside if it's illegal. I understand he does it in your house, but you allow him to. He does it, you don't reinforce it, and you keep allowing him over. You need to stop letting it slide. I highly doubt this is the only reason he's getting evicted, but it very well could be depending on his lease.